A new art exhibition focuses on urban experiences in St. Louis. We'll have details of that next on City Corner. I'm Steve Potter, and welcome to City Corner. Taking It to the Streets is a new art exhibition that's currently up and running at Gallery 210 at the University of Missouri, St. Louis. And I'd like to introduce you to our guest today. We'll start on the far end. Terry Suhre is with Gallery 210, and to his immediate left is Dee Nichols, and also with us Lois Ingrum, who are both artists. Welcome, all of you.
Thank you.
Terry, talk a little bit about this exhibition. You've called it a timely exhibition. What do you mean by that?
Well, we were in a time, I feel, of a political and social dynamism in which there's a young group of artists who are starting to question and reconsider the way the social structure is, and there's a pushback against some established notions about what is correct and what is not correct. And I believe the artists in this exhibit are making a statement, particularly a statement about issues of social justice and equality.
And you know, loosely, I guess, tied to issues like Ferguson and things like that.
Yeah, no, most certainly. I think Ferguson was the kind of the final incident that brought forth a great deal of discontent and issues that had been simmering beneath for a very long time.
Now, there are a number of artists, photographers, and artists who are involved in this. Two of them are with us here. Dee, tell me a little bit about yourself. How do you fit into this, and what does this exhibition mean to you?
Indeed. So I identify as a social practice artist.
A social practice artist.
Yes, and my background is in communications design, and so with using both art and design and what I call common cultural denominators like food and storytelling and public space to allow for experiences to be created that connects people and allows us to reflect and interact and understand each other's life experiences for the sake of addressing a lot of the social issues that exist amongst us. And so my practice as an artist does that in regards of getting connected to Terry and taking it to the streets. A lot of that came from being on the ground in Ferguson and being active, you know, even before August 9th as an artist in the city for social change.
So when you say you were on the streets, you were there during the protests and things like that?
Yes, definitely. Sometimes day in and day out. And the sense of building community on the ground and having these experiences as an artist that allowed me to visually reflect on what I was going through and what I was thinking became crucial to express and not keep bottled up.
And you're more like a multimedia artist. Would that be a good way to describe you?
Definitely. One of the pieces that myself and the team of artists that I worked with are most known for from the efforts in Ferguson was the Mirror Casket. And that piece is a sculptural piece made completely out of mirrors. And it was collected by the Smithsonian Museum in DC. And with that, there are so many other works that we've created collectively and individually in order to get people thinking about their role and their complicit nature of being in all of these justice movements and racial equity efforts that we're aspiring towards.
What about you, Lois? How do you fit into all this?
Well, I'm an instructor, and as a photographer and graphic art company, we go into communities and work with young people. And in 2008, I literally was working with a group of people, and we were walking the community to identify the positive and negatives of a community. And the students and myself passed a makeshift memorial. And in passing that, one of the students asked, well, Miss Ingrum, why don't we take photographs of this? And at that moment, it was my crossroad, I realized we had just passed a makeshift memorial of a young person who passed away, and we basically saw it but ignored it. It became a normal landscape of our community. And people see them from a distance, but they never connect to them. That's when I realized that someone was grieving, and they loved this person enough to make this makeshift memorial, and they wanted the world to know that this person was loved. So we talked about and communicated with those students, and that was in 2008. And so I've been traveling the United States and parts of other countries, documenting these makeshift memorials and what connect them.
Through photography.
Through photography.
Right.
And no matter what style or what means or materials used to identify the death of someone, they all had a common core to them, and that was they wanted to show the world that this person was loved.
Terry, so we have a multimedia artist here and a photographer. Who are the other artists?
We have a Kababi, who is a well-known painter in the area. He made a sensation with his 365 Days of Dad series previously, and he's contributed a series of new works that are, I think, more pointed in addressing social issues. We have Attilio D'Agostino. D'Agostino, thank you. Brilliant photographer, works for Alive magazine, a St. Louis magazine, does fantastic fashion photography. He has done a series of portraits of person involved in the Black Lives Matter movement and the Ferguson movement. That's part of the introduction to the exhibit. We have some beautiful memory works, great paintings, and a tremendous drawing by Solomon Thurman. And Howard Berry, who is one of the most prolific draftsmen I have ever seen, has put together a wall of work, about 40 different drawings based on newspaper, using a wide variety of graphic media. We have a beautiful film that I saw on this very network by Denise Ward Brown, from Jim Crow to Obama. That's screening in Gallery C. It's our video space. In Gallery B, which is across from our main gallery, we have the Faces Not Forgotten by Christine Ilowitzki, and we have a beautiful installation by Damon Davis and Basil Kincaid.
Well, let's look at some of the work that's featured in this exhibition. It's going to be up all semester, I guess?
Yes, up through May 5.
And I know we'll probably see some of your work also.
Indeed.
And I know you'll probably have comments on the other artists' work as well. So let's start with this one.
This is a photograph taken by Damon Davis as part of the installation for the Hands Up installation that he put together with Basil Kincaid. It is the backdrop for a memorial of hands emerging from soil, and three large burnt pillars that represent the people who have died in tragic circumstances in and around the area.
How does this speak to you two?
It's powerful. When the initial opening, you could smell the fresh dirt and the flowers, and you knew it meant that it was a grave site. And then the hands emerging from that meant that, you know, we have to recognize that this is a time to change. It's very powerful. I think the whole exhibit speaks to, I mean, literally speaks to change.
Indeed. With this work in particular, as a designer who works with words, stop is the stop that really stuck out to me in that particular photograph. And with knowing Damon and knowing the intentionality that he puts into so much of his works, even as a filmmaker now, I get his soul when I look at that piece.
Let's look at some more work from Taking It to the Streets at Gallery 210. I recognize this. I think this was on at the Jacoby Art Center in Alton at one point.
It was. Christine Ilowitzki's Faces Not Forgotten is her mission to document the tragic loss of children, young people
And
to
these are
gun
just
violence.
kids that lost their lives on St. Louis streets or whatever.
Specifically to gun violence. That is her thing. And we have 3 of her quilts hanging in the gallery right now.
Yeah, I saw this one up close and personal at the Jacoby, and it was quite moving. What do you all think about this?
Well, this connects to the makeshift memorials, the photographs that I take, because it gives faces to those makeshift memorials. Is because of the colors and because of the artwork around, it's very powerful. These are brilliant minds that we've lost, and our future.
I mean, they look like nice, innocent kids.
Absolutely.
Well, they are nice, innocent kids.
They are, and
They
the
are
quilt
indeed.
and the quilt form like this makes it so much more attractive to say, what are we doing? How can we stop this?
Let's keep going. This is taking it to the streets.
This is one of Howard Berry's, I think, signature pieces in the exhibition. Howard works on newspaper. It's a very ephemeral material. It's not going to last forever. And what he wants to do is take that newspaper and its abstract words, which tells a story, and then, as Lois was saying, with the quilt, puts a face on it that's recognizable. So he integrates those two things. Dee, you know, you work with graphic design, integration of words and text.
Indeed. With Howard Berry's, I think what I take from it is a lot of the truth-telling, of being able to be with people and add that into the media and the stories and the narratives that are concocted for us, and being able to merge those worlds. But then to add that visual spin on it through these, you know, very prolific and like vibrant and like engaging photographs. I think that's his unique mark in not only the art community here, but also the narrative of where we're going.
Mm-hmm. Let's look at another one.
Kababi, yeah. This is one of his, I think, more.
His style is so gripping to me.
Well, and it's quite recognizable. You always know it's one of his paintings. But the content of this work is, you know, it's pretty powerful, and it's you know, it's called Life Decisions, and it's about the consequences of things, and the combination of the gun, the father holding the child, just it's a fable that could have a very tragic ending.
What do you think about his work?
Well, you know, even the teardrops nearly tells you that the father may be in the crossroads, because he's holding his child innocent, and then he's in that crossroad of decision making. And it's just powerful to see the gun. You know, he's being told that my world is this, but my child that I hold is something else. Where do I go with this?
Yeah.
Well, we need to take a little break, and we'll be back to talk more about Taking It to the Streets, which is currently Gallery 210 at the University of Missouri St. Louis, and we'll be back with more right after this.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
I'm Steve Potter. Welcome back to City Corner. Today we're talking about an art exhibition that's currently up at Gallery 210 at the University of Missouri St. Louis. Terry Suhre is with us. Are you the director there? Is that your official title?
Yes, sir.
Director. And we also have artists who are part of the exhibition with us today too. They are Dee Nichols and Lois Ingrum. So Terry, you sort of talked a little bit before about how this exhibition touches on issues like social justice and Ferguson and related things like that. What kind of discussion, and it's been open for a while, what kind of discussion have you heard from people that experience this?
It's been a supportive of the exhibit. Everybody comes in and says this is the best, one of the best exhibits they have seen in a long time at Gallery 210. And it is causing discussions between visitors and between staff as we interpret the exhibition and try and lead them through the basic themes of the program. I think, and for some people, these things hit very close to home and are deeply personal, and there's just moments of long reflection and kind of comments in between each other as they, I think, reflect on similar or familiar experiences.
And as artists, how do you two feel about it? Of course, you're expressing yourself in your own work, but when your work is part of an exhibition with other people, it sort of maybe changes the dynamics of your work too a little bit. I don't know, what's your reaction to it, Dee?
Indeed. So I had the privilege of moderating a conversation on the opening night of the exhibition with all of the artists who are presenting in the room, as well as just other supporters. And a lot of the sentiments, in addition to just being like grateful for having the space to share so many perspectives on this topic of social justice and racial equity and the fight for freedom, was that there's a lot of pain that we have expressed.
And we've seen examples of that already, yeah.
Indeed, and getting to that point of like balancing our expressions of pain and the witnessing of such, to not numb it, but to also complement that with moments of joy. And so I really appreciate pieces within the works like Faces of the Movement, mm-hmm. which Attilio and I did, mm-hmm. Where you can get a sense of people's stories and get another perspective and angle on things. Same with Jim Crow to Barack Obama. So much of the dialogue within that film is about hope and progress and talking through the generational parts of this shared experience that we have. In my own works even, with having a full wall of sticky note reflections, there are many that are about love. There are many about overcoming and focusing and balancing and finding joy even in the moments. And that's complemented with this video that integrates both word and film from moments on the ground. And so that dialogue between all of the works within the exhibition, I think is super powerful.
Mm-hmm. And with the makeshift memorial photographs, being able to express, you're able to, as a person coming into the exhibit, you're able to leave condolences, or you are sometimes remembering someone you've lost. And so you're able to externalize that by leaving that at the makeshift, if there is a makeshift memorial there. So you're able to leave that, and you're able to connect with that versus seeing it in the community and not ever being able to touch or be close to it. I am very proud to be a part of this exhibit. I have exhibited throughout the United States, and this is one very powerful exhibit. Each one of them tell a story, but as a group, they tell this powerful story that is connected to each other.
And it really reaches people. Like Dee, you said you were on the ground in Ferguson during the turmoil and stuff, so it speaks to you in a certain way, but for someone that's never even been near Ferguson, it also reaches them too, on a different level. Let's look at some more of the work from Gallery 210, Taking It to the Streets. Terry, what's this?
That's another Kawabi painting. I think Dee probably can talk to the topic a little better than I can, the Canfield 14.
Yeah, I love the Canfield.
That's the street Michael Brown was shot on.
Exactly. Yeah. And then the 14 for 2014. But I also think about the hair, and I think about like just the diversity of people and expressions that you saw on the ground, and that sense of that black girl magic of you don't know who this woman is, but you know that she is about to soar and about to really make change, and that she wears the struggle on her back, and I really appreciate that expression of it.
Let's go to the next one.
There's one of Attilio's photographs.
This is Darren Sills, and Darren, or D. Sills, he was actually killed last year, I believe, and he was the first person that we ever posted to the Faces of the Movement project. And Attilio and I collaborated on this project, and I have a video of that experience of our sitting with Darren, and when he died, this photo literally went viral, and is powerful, and the story that is complemented with it, that he shares about his own little brother and how he's in this fight or was in this fight for his brother, I think speaks to a lot of people.
Let's look at one more.
Another Attilio, that's Alice.
Yeah.
And I think this is, for me, one of the most important pieces there, this young woman and her aspirations and looking to her elders as a way to, resist and to grow and to thrive under some difficult situations. And it's just, again, aesthetically speaking, it's just an absolutely gorgeous photograph.
Indeed.
Just a gorgeous photograph.
Lois and Dee, I just want to ask you something about your own work, just briefly a little bit. Lois, you do something called the Doll Project. What's that?
Well, it's called the Doll Project because it was connected to the first one I seen. It's a makeshift memorial, and it was put up with Barbie dolls because a 9-year-old was shot by a stray bullet, and the mother put up all the Barbie dolls that she played with. And so when I saw that, it connected to me, and I know people say we should have found a different name, but that was the first one that was very impactful to me, and it's pretty much stuck. But it's the makeshift memorials of people who have perished not just through gun violence, but just death and instant death, and one that is shocking, but the parents or the friends or the loved ones want the world to know that they were loved.
And Dee, you have something called Black Notes?
Yes, so the Black Notes part of the exhibition is a compilation from a larger series of works called the Sticky Notes to Self Project. Almost every day I write a reflection, a typographic reflection as a designer on to sticky notes, and I pair those with works of art in their backgrounds, and they speak to current political and social issues, but in this exhibition they are complemented by the video of different moments of being on the ground, but also prints of those same typographic reflections.
Let's spend the time we have left looking at more of the artwork from the exhibition at Gallery 210, Taking It to the Streets.
That's Solomon Thurman. This is his painting, A Day in the Life. I asked Solomon about these works, and he was telling me that his paintings are drawn from the stories his grandmother used to tell him.
That's picking cotton, obviously, right?
Right, yeah, and that he wants to preserve these memories, that this is a part of history that should not be pushed aside or denied or be embarrassed by. This is simply the nature of life during that time, and he wants to honor those people who came before.
Let's go to the next one.
Well, Lois, that's
Yes.
yours.
Is this yours, Lois?
Yes, it is. This is a makeshift memorial. This was a gun violence situation, but this is South City, and these were some of the makeshift memorial photos that I've taken only in the St. Louis area on display here at this exhibit.
Yeah.
But we have, I can every day go out and see something like this. But it's beautiful. I mean, this is maybe 8 to 9 feet tall, and it spreads out to about 6 feet around. So the community can pass this and add to, put notes on,
Right.
so it's an interactive.
I saw the same thing. I drove by Canfield Drive after
Yes.
the Michael Brown thing and saw the makeshift memorial, and it was quite moving to me. You
Well,
could
the
just
first
tell,
one-
you
the-
could tell the emotion there.
Yeah, the first one was a little bit smaller, and when it was placed on fire, got caught on fire.
Let's look at as many more of these images as we can in the few minutes that we have remaining.
That's
And so,
another
this
one
is
of
another
Lois's.
one in North St. Louis, makeshift memorial.
All right, let's keep going.
Now, Dee, that's from you.
Yeah, this is a still from the video that complements the Black Notes, and
Your
this-
project.
Yes, and this particular scene was a moment when a lot of the organizers and activists on the ground were moving for the police to literally just let them be and leave them alone. And in the video, you hear the chants of, racist cops are not wanted here. And And so that moment in this particular shot of seeing the diversity of people who are standing in unison, in unity, to just desire better and more.
Let's move ahead.
This is a film by Chris Phillips called 100 Days, 100 Seconds, in which Chris does a short snippets of various captured films. Some he shot himself, some he appropriated, and it traces to the beginning and goes through 100 days. So you see the seasons change, and you have this sense of anger, despair, hope, resignation, and hope again through the seasons.
Let's look at another one.
This is another of Solomon's paintings. Again, one of his memory pieces about growing up, his grandmother's memories of growing up and working the land.
One more.
We have a video by Annette Bentel Vickers,
Yes.
and she documented the artwork that was being made by a large number of artists at the time that we simply could not include in the exhibition. So this is the little video that flips through with some great music behind it. They have a chance to preview some other work that was not available for our exhibit.
Terry, Gallery 210, this exhibition again is going to be on through the end of the semester,
Yes.
right? And Gallery 210 happens to be celebrating their 45th anniversary, and you're doing something special coming up on April 7th and 8th?
Yes, sir. On April 7th, we're having an extension of the exhibition down at the Kranzberg Arts Center. Starts at 6 and goes until 10. These chief people here are part of that exhibition. They've created new work for us to be installed down there, along with Basil Kincaid, who'll be doing one of his quilt pieces, and Howard Berry's going to be sending me some new drawings to install. There's going to be music by the Umsel Jazz Band and a spoken word performance by Eric Prospect White. And it's free to the public. At the same time, Gallery 210 is going to have a second opening up there, and there's going to be a bus that travels back and forth between Grand Center and Gallery 210 to make a connection between those two sites. The next day, we're doing a family day called Art Comes Alive and Community Comes Together, and it's going to be a event aimed at elementary and middle school children. We're going to be coming in. There will be art making activities, poetry writing activities. We're going to have the St. Louis photo bus there. Pizza for everybody.
Oh,
and
now
it's
you're
going to
talking.
be a good time. It's going to be a good time for all. And that's going to start at noon and go till 4 p.m.
Right. Well, it's a wonderful exhibition. I hope people will take time to see it. Lois and Dee, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and your work with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Enjoyed
having
it very
us.
much. And Terry, good to see you again as always.
Good to see you, Steve.
Taking it to the streets, Gallery 210. I'm Steve Potter. Thanks for joining us today. Hope you join us next time too. Bye.